Our final performer is 94 years young. He was 4th Cavalry Recon Squadron, fighting in the European theater from D-Day through VE Day. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, Marvin Sussman.
Have those acting skills so that I could tell the story without just reading it. I probably could, but I'll get it wrong if I don't read it. So I'll read it. My granddaughter threatened me with all kinds of consequences if I didn't start writing about war stories. So I wrote what I call funny war stories. And let me read you one of them. If you like it, maybe I'll read another one. Anyway. Do you hear me well?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
The thing is, German soldiers couldn't surrender. I gotta put my glasses on. That's what happens when you get old. The thing is, German soldiers could surrender only when they ran out of ammunition. And they were getting rid of their ammo by dumping it on us. Machine guns, burp guns, mortars, 88s. We, the Duncan A2, 4th Cavalry Reconnaissance Squadron, were pretty well dug into a few Normandy hedgerows, answering their stuff by calling down an artillery barrage on their own heads. The light rain was Mother Nature's pox on both our houses. The date was D plus 30-something. From Utah Beach, 7th Corps had cut across the peninsula, trapping German troops too close to Cherbourg to escape toward home. Now we were pushing them against the channel. The Krauts, cut off from supplies, had probably run out of food and were running on empty. After almost 5 years of war, POW camp probably looked good to them. From our standpoint, the sooner the better. Since D-Day, we had lost 7 dead and about 20 wounded out of 140 men at full strength. But advancing toward the end of the peninsula, our mood was good. Maybe we could see a faint twinkle at the end of the tunnel. More artillery, please. I had enlisted in the cavalry to avoid being drafted into the infantry. How could I have known that dismounted cavalry becomes infantry? Of course, we teenagers knew nothing about the service. Pearl Harbor was attacked less than 6 months after my high school graduation, and before January 1943, I had to decide on a branch of service or face the draft. I had a job and was attending evening classes at Northwestern U downtown Chicago. I knew nobody who could give me advice. So at the beginning of fall 1942, I raised my right hand and took a step forward into the U.S. Army. I will not bore you with the induction details, but to get to the funny part of this story, you have to know something about the GCT, the service's general classification test, given to everyone at induction. This was a nonverbal test with questions about drawings and shapes, testing their ability to observe and reason under a time constraint. There were cubes to be counted, arranged in triangles, rectangles, or pyramids. Right and left-handed threaded screws in different orientations to be analyzed for direction of motion when turned clockwise or otherwise. Analogies to be recognized, etc. Based on your score, someone could better guess at your ability to fill an empty slot. Long before my enlistment, attracted by a popular mechanics magazine ad offering GCT training material, I had mailed a few bucks for the sample problems. Over some 6 months, I did some serious cramming. And long story much short, I aced the GCT at the downtown Chicago Induction Center, actually finishing the exam with time to check my answers. Of course, the results were not revealed, but a few months later, on a cool spring morning in California's Mojave Desert, our troop clerk approached me near the latrine and began this dialogue. Corporal Red Johnson from Minnesota says, Sussman, do you know that you have the highest GCT in the squadron? A squadron consists of 3 line troops and a headquarters troop, so over 500 men. And me playing it cool. Well, what's a GCT? that test you took at the induction center, your score was 184. Well, what was normal? I'm still cool. 100. The next highest score was 135. Some lieutenant in C troop. I figured that to be Lieutenant Rubin, the only Jewish officer in the squadron. But I said only, what was your score? 106. Interesting. Interesting, but then forgotten after enduring the July heat of the desert and road reconnaissance practice in East Texas and Southern England. Forgotten by me, but not by Army records. On that rainy summer day in Normandy, while dozing off in my foxhole, dug well into and under a hedge, a call was passed down the line. Sussman, go see the sergeant. I grabbed my rifle and with rain poncho and helmet ducked to the corner of the pasture. Sitting in his foxhole, Sergeant McDermott had a mean look. Sussman, what did you do? The captain wants to see you. I didn't do nothing. The double negative was obligatory. Ducking my way past 2 hedgerows, but gradually ducking less so that arriving at troop headquarters, I was walking normally. I heard my name and looking around I saw Captain Benj in a really deep foxhole. Sussman, get down here. Mortars are coming in. It seemed very quiet back there, but I took heed and quickly joined him. Sussman, what did you do? The colonel wants to see you. No idea, sir, with a salute and no double negative. Well, Corporal Buck has a jeep to take you to squadron. Look sharp. Another salute, and I double-timed to the roadway. During a 3-minute bumpy ride through quiet fields, Isaac Buck asked me what this was about. No idea. And that was the absolute truth. Now, Colonel Dunn's tent had a folding card table with a light bulb over it, a telephone and some papers on it, and a small filing cabinet beside it. An officer's bedroll sat on an army cot, filling one side of the tent. There was more, but my eyes were fixed on the colonel, sitting in a folding chair. A short, trim, wry West Pointer with a low but commanding voice. He had a confident look that always impressed us. My salute was followed by his "at ease," and then these questions, each answered by a sharp "yes, sir." Your name is Marvin Sussman. Your rank is private. You are a rifleman. You serve in a line platoon. You have been in combat over 30 days. You are over 18. You are under 21. You have a high school diploma. Then a few moments of silence while he examined some papers. Then, Trooper, you are the only soldier in the squadron who qualifies. Sir, I was really puzzled. Trooper, you are going to West Point for 4 years. It will make you an officer and a gentleman. Corporal Buck will get your duffel bag. You leave immediately. Sign this. All said in gravelly monotone, like reading a grocery list, while handing me a typed sheet of paper. I was probably standing there with my mouth open, immobile. My mind was racing. That damn GCT score. 4 years, and then an army career. Out of a foxhole into hell. This war was almost over. The Krauts were giving up. The Red Army was at Warsaw. Tokyo was being destroyed. If I could stick this out for a few more months, I could be home free. And now my signature was being demanded. Colonel Dunn must have sensed my shock because he explained further. The 7th Corps has a quota of 5 men with combat experience to be sent to West Point. And by God, one of them is coming from my squadron. An Army Corps consists of about 1 million men. Yes, sir. The commanding voice was no longer low. He meant business. I was at least intelligent enough not to argue with the colonel. To study the paper, I reached into my jacket for my glasses and fumbled them. You wear glasses, trooper? Yes, sir. Trooper, you may return to your unit. Yes, sir. Then a salute and about face and a lively retreat. Today, West Point will take you with your glasses, false teeth, and hearing aids. Not with artificial limbs and a pacemaker. But that was 1944. So, back to the foxhole in the 88s. I explained the trip to squadron headquarters as a need to straighten out some records. The truth would have only brought on a well-deserved ribbing. I could have saved a few dollars and a lot of time spent cramming for the GCT. The thing is, I now had one more counterfactual to know. What if I had not reached for my glasses? All I had to do was sign the damn thing. Probably West Point would have accepted me with good enough eyes. How would my life have been altered? Would I get to play poker with future famous generals? Would I die leading an infantry platoon in Korea? Etc. The simple fact is that on that rainy summer day, returning to my foxhole in the 88s, I did feel relieved, if not happy. But a few months later, soaking my butt in the Hurtgen Forest or freezing it in the Bulge, there were moments when I really missed West Point on the